With that said, I'm going to hit the record here, and we're going to get going into module 2 now. So now we're going to talk about the hooks. So the hooks is what, I mean, Lewis, this is going to carry over to your direct response piece. You know, if you're like, yeah, I want to send something in the mail, hooks is a great way to go. So I'm just going to pull this up. Hooks and a big idea. Okay, so, you know, I'll explain kind of the difference between the two, but like this direct mail piece from Justin Goff, right away he has his big idea here of how he can beat my control in 48 hours or he's going to pay me 50 grand. So right away, big promise, big idea. Lewis, you already did a great job with that with your book. And I don't know if in here Justin has like his unique mechanism for how he beats controls, but I would go as far as to say is Justin is the unique mechanism. Justin is the hook. He has hooked himself. Okay, so he's the guy who's going to beat your control. So Lewis, that might be the thing for you. I can promise this with your podcast, but only my agency can do it. And we have our framework to do it, which is we'd want to come up with a cool name for it. Do you have like a name for it? This all goes into the whole module that I'm on right now anyway. Do you have a name for like the four?
It's LDMS. So it's launch, distribute, monetize, scale.
Nice. LDMS. I like that. So your LDMS method or system that is run by your podcasting team is what helps them scale and grow faster.
Exactly. From zero, from like idea to like, hey, we've got like 100,000 listeners a month.
Cool. Hey, is your book promising 100? And by the way, if I'm looking down here, I'm actually writing notes. I feel like it helps me. Is your book, is it promising 100 days to 100,000 a month or just 100,000 total, just so I have an idea?
Yes, their first 100,000 listeners.
Perfect. Excellent. So then okay. Perfect. Because then your service is going to take them to the next level of 100,000 a month. Correct. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So that's great. So we'll go into, we'll talk more about that, in just a little bit. We'll go into like the actual module here with what the hook is and actually go into more details, and then we'll actually start implementing it into, hey, Luca, let's think of what we can do for, what Funk's product is, and then, of course, we'll continue, Lewis, to kind of hash this out, even though I think you already have something good here that we can look more into. Okay, so let me do a screen share.
Sweet.
All right, is that popping up for you guys? Cool. All right, so we have here finding your winning hook. So what we're going to talk about, because I think sometimes people get hooks confused with like the big idea and all the, these different terms that are thrown around in copywriting. So I want you to think is the big idea is like the big promise. So you see this with Luca with a lot of weight loss offers that are at the top of ClickBank. You see, this big idea that if you only add this one spice into your tea, you're going to burn 2 pounds of fat, a day, which is bullcrap. But anyway, like you'll see like these huge inflated claims, and the best claims you can make, the best big ideas, the big promises that you can have are ones that are backed up. So for both of you guys, when you're creating any products or what you want to do or giving any sort of promises of what your service can provide, you want to make the biggest claim that you can with while still feeling good inside and having something to prove, to back it up. even if it's just a little bit of proof to back it up. So those are the things that make for a really good promise. So, so let me kind of bring that into an example. So let's take intermittent fasting, for example. Like Luca, this, you'll come into a bunch of nutrition things. Well, let's just work with the examples that we have, because we're going to be doing a kettlebell program anyway. So let's just look at this one here and what the actual, the big idea is. Okay, so the big idea here is the world's fastest workout. Okay, that's like the big promise there is, hey, we've discovered the world's fastest workout here, and it only takes 6 minutes. Okay, so the actual mechanism of what does this is the 6-minute kettlebell workouts that were discovered by the Soviet Union trainer. Like that's the mechanism. But we want to have this big idea, this big thing that just kind of sucks the reader in, this big promise. And that's what that's what really, hooks people into the copy. So we want to have something so Lewis, when we go to your copy, for example, so free book reveals how to get your first 100,000 podcast downloads in only 100 days. So there's your hook. Okay, you already have a hook with your book here. So it's your 100,000 downloads, 100 days, and then your unique mechanism is your 5 pillars. Or at least that's what I got from reading the book. Is that, would you say that that's more so the unique mechanism?
Yeah, that's like those are like the 5 key strategies that I would use.
Okay, cool.
Those are 5 strategies.
Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. So those 5 pillars are going to be the unique mechanism. So you see, we have this big claim, this big promise, which we need in every sales letter. We need in our posts. We need in, hey, what you're going to get out of this Facebook post is this. And by the time they get to the bottom, they've been hopefully, wine and dined enough, or the curiosity has been built so much that they click the link at the bottom of whatever your Facebook post has, where they can, Lewis, maybe read about your book, or, so you do a Facebook post, do you want to learn how to get your first 100,000 podcast downloads in only 100 days? If so, keep reading. One of the things that I use is, this 5, the 5 golden podcast pillars. And, a lot of, you can have these right in your business, but if you have them in the wrong order, then it's, then you're not going to see the type of growth that you want to see. And like, you're just kind of building curiosity, and then you're just telling them to click the link. So that would be like an example of like a Facebook post, or, something like that. Okay, so let's go back to this example here, Luca. So let's compare Lewis's, and then Luca, let's compare this, so you guys both have like an idea of how these tie together. Free book reveals how to get your first 100,000 podcast downloads in only 100 days. Great. There's your big idea. Big idea here is the world's fastest workout. Okay, that's your big idea. The mechanism for Lewis is going to be his 5 pillars, which gets into a little bit later in the copy. You could probably hammer it home a little bit more in the copy. And then on the kettlebell offer here that we wrote, it's the mechanism is these 6-minute workouts discovered by this Soviet Union Special Forces trainer. And it'll go more into it'll go a little bit more into it further into the page, like how they discover these workouts. It goes into Chandler's story and all this stuff. But do you kind of see the difference between like the big promise, which is basically like your hook, okay, and then your unique mechanism? So what makes this big promise actually happen? kind of see like the difference between the two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big idea is, the promise that you really want to make unique, and then the mechanism is what they want to sell.
Yeah, that mechanism is basically the secret sauce that makes that big promise actually happen. And that's why we don't call intermittent fasting when we say it's the world's greatest. Like say I have a weight loss program and I'm saying you can burn or you can lose 3 pounds over a weekend. I don't call it intermittent fasting as the unique mechanism because we want to make it sound cool. We want to make it sound new. We want to make it sound like it's something that's maybe lost to history and we've now discovered it. So it's, so that's just some things to think about. So just want to make sure that we're not getting the big idea and the hook, or excuse me, the hook, the big idea and the unique mechanism confused. And sometimes they can work together. Like copy isn't always 100% like set, where it's a little fluid. Sometimes the unique mechanism and the work and the hook can kind of work together, but in this case, we're gonna keep it separate. Okay, so this is the foundation of any high converting sales letter. It's the foundation between a high converting book that's sitting on a shelf or a service that you provide. So Lewis, going back to just what your service offers, your unique mechanism is this LDMS method, and it promises to get your podcast clients up to 100,000 subscribers, 100,000 downloads a month, correct?
Right.
Okay, so I mean, you already have that built in, which is great. So Luca, let's think of some things for like this kettlebell offer. So let me pull up this sheet here. And let me pull up this link here. So Funk sent me this link because he was like, Joe, I just want you guys to do something similar to this in terms of length, in terms of the type of copy. So it's not like a huge story and things like that. Instead, we are just kind of looking at, let's take a look at it. Hold on, let me move this bar down over here. Okay, so this is an upsell. So this isn't like a front-end product, so it's going to sound a little bit different, Luca, but it still has the same principle. So you will get exclusive access to a powerful and strategic AAA system. Okay, so there's your unique mechanism, the AAA system, to melt lower belly fat and drop 1 to 2 inches from your waistline in the next 48 hours. Okay, so there's your big promise. Melt lower body fat, drop 1 to 2 inches from your waist in only 2 days. Okay, so even so that's how we're going to structure it with Funk's copy. So let's look at what Funk has given us here. It's given us 4 workouts a week. He has, so it's probably going to be, a short workout. So short workouts. So let's see, 25 minutes. So that would be just around an hour and a half. So a little bit over an hour and a half. So we have an hour and a half workouts per week. And the big promise that we can give them is, it's going to be a fat loss. So we could probably go pretty big here with Funk. And then he'll just tell us, hey, if we say that'll help you lose 3 pounds of stubborn belly fat. So let me just write this down, so when we start going to the headlines, 3 pounds of stubborn belly fat in only 90 minutes per week. Okay. And, Funk hasn't named his kettlebell workouts. Like we literally can just get as creative as we want with his kettlebell workouts. So
Okay.
let's look at, what he's doing. So he's doing like a swing variation, lower body, upper. I think he went here is what he ended up doing for the 4 workouts a week. So we have push, pull, swing, and lower body.
So we can try and spin up something like P90X did with like muscle confusion of kettlebell or something.
Yeah. So that could be cool. So maybe metabolism confusion. Okay, so it's like more of metabolic confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is no one's using that, and that actually has a cool, it puts in their mind, oh, this is new, this is unique. I've not heard of metabolic confusion before, and the metabolic confusion is why I'm able to lose 3 pounds a week of belly fat from just these 25-minute workouts. So yeah, let's name it that. So let's name it metabolic confusion. And let's make, for now, I mean, Funk will send us edits. He really basically left this up in the air, and we'll just do it. So that actually is sometimes harder, but it's sometimes easier too, because we're not limited. But let's stick with 3 pounds. So you lose 3 pounds of belly fat in only 90 minutes using this unique metabolic confusion protocol. Metabolic confusion kettlebell protocol.
Okay. 3 pounds of belly fat in only 90 minutes a week using this metabolic confusion kettlebell protocol.
Yeah, I think that would be a great place to just lean into the sales letter from there. And what you guys will find is you want to have this first. So even before creating a product, I know that, so Lewis, like if you create a digital course, what you'll want to do before you create a digital course in the future is think of the unique hook of your product, the big promise, and all of that good stuff. And then you would build your product around that. So I always tell people the sales letters that do best that we work with, the clients that always out convert the other ones, are the guys who say, you guys have free reign to write what you want that's backed by research and that fits into this thing that I want to do. So they might want to, for example, Chandler came to me. He wanted to do a kettlebell fat loss offer. He said, Joe, your team writes the copy, and then I'll build the program around what you write in the copy. So the reason why is because think of when you're selling someone on the phone, right, Lewis? Like if you want them to sign up, so you're saying things that, yes, are true, but you really want that.
Problems are.
Yeah. You really, you're finding out what their problems are, and you're promising that you can make it happen.
Right.
And then you're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
So with the sales letter, it's the same thing. We want to make these big promises of what we can make happen. And then the person who creates the program better go in there and create a program that's going to live up to the hype, So that's just a tip, Lewis, if you create products in the future. And Luca, just as a side note, it's always know, if we have a copywriting client and they don't have their stuff all together, that's okay. We can still take them. In fact, they're in a better position than if they actually made the whole program, and now we have to try and put a present around a piece of poo, a piece of crap. And
Yeah.
like, man, you can't even do that. I mean, good luck trying to convert. So
yeah, almost puts more pressure on them to deliver based on what sells.
Yeah.
And what we're saying. Yeah.
Exactly. So, we have to water down our message based on their product. We don't want to do that. We want to be able to talk this product up like it's the next greatest thing next to sliced bread, but then the person who actually creates the program, they better come through with that or they're going to get a lot of refunds. And a lot of unhappy customers. So we don't want that. Okay. So where is my... So how are you guys feeling about big idea / hook and unique mechanism? How are you guys feeling about that right now? Any questions?
No, that was good.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is like building the copy first.
Yeah.
And then doing the product. I think that's a big takeaway. I think I never thought of it like that. So I think that helps.
Yeah. No, that'll be huge for you in the future, Lewis. And with any service that you do, that isn't another arm in your podcasting service, there's a way to think of it.
Yeah, we got some ideas and some new stuff. So
exactly. Cool.
Is there anything out there like what you're saying, Lewis?
What do you mean, like the system?
Yeah. And like any promises to get that many followers in any amount of time?
No, it's
nice.
a really ballsy claim.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. That's exactly, because I read that and I'm like, dang, 100,000 podcast downloads a month would probably add an extra X amount of dollars in my head. I'm thinking like, oh crap, that would be awesome. So it's a huge promise. I like it a lot. So let's go into some of the things. And Luca, a lot of this will apply to you. Lewis, some of this will apply to you as well. But just because podcasting is a lot newer compared to dieting and weight loss, which has been around, forever. And people have been using health remedies forever. So this is going to be, Luca, this will be a huge sheet in general for you. So one of the things that you'll want to do is now we're talking about, we have our big idea, we have our big claim. Now we want to find that mechanism. Okay, we want to find, okay, well, what makes it work? You're saying I can lose 3 pounds in X amount of days using only 90 minutes of exercise a week. And then how am I going to do it? And that's when we find out, or we look up maybe metabolic confusion, or look up how kettlebell workouts. So I would just go here. We don't really need to make like this this whole long drawn out history of, or ancient history of, these kettlebell workouts and stuff like that, because it's not going to be an incredibly long sales letter, Luca. So it'll more so be like, we want to, just like get to the point of like what this does. So I'm going to bring like this back to an example here. They're talking about the AAA formula. It looks like here that they don't really go much into even the mechanism of this. And this is an upsell, so they may, they're probably just not going as in depth as they could. But they say like the AAA formula, and they talk about the benefits and how it's going to work. So what I would look up is maybe like kettlebell workouts, for metabolism. And then you can go into any of these sites. Now, this is going to be for men over 40. So like going here, like menshealth.com is going to be better than going to, at the very top of the page, it was a women's health magazine article. So we
Mhm.
also want to find what the best demographic is. You'll also see language that, there's a reason Men's Health magazine is a very popular magazine because their editors know how to speak to their audience. So we have, 6 kettlebell moves that melt away or that melt your fat away. That can be a piece of copy that you can add into, add into the copy. So, warning, you'll experience. I don't like the warning you will experience thing, but anyway, all to say, you can extract these ideas here and put it into your copy. You don't want to like copy and paste word for word. You can with like a sentence like this. It's not like it's plagiarizing. You're just taking a sentence, but you want to make sure that it makes sense and all these things. So let's look at some of the other, see if there's any other nuggets in here. And let me get this added to, I'm just going to throw this into the chat here. Okay. Okay, so kettlebell training combines cardiovascular training, resistance training. Let's see. Okay, so look here. We have this workout routine will provide a level of metabolic stress that is the enemy of excess body fat. Awesome. Okay, so we already have kind of a cool piece of copy that we can include into the sales letter, this concept that these metabolic confusion workouts, or you can call it metabolic confusion, maybe even metabolic stress. We'll see. Let's keep it metabolic confusion. But, let's see. One sec, you guys. Probably see my screen here. It's telling me to upgrade. I thought I had Zoom Pro, but it's telling me to upgrade. So I'm going to do that real quick.
Yeah. If you want,
Okay.
I have one too. I can send you the link. We can support it.
Is that because of the countdown you see?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because I was on this yesterday and didn't have that happen. So let me just get some things added in here. Sorry about that, guys.
I'll just run to the bathroom for a sec.
What's that?
You guys can go to the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it said that before last time, and then it just didn't do anything. At least it said it on my end.
Yeah, it's set it on my end, and then what happened? It said that like I can continue on for a trial or something like that, or like keep just
Weird.
going for a trial. Yeah, let me run downstairs and get my credit card information. I'll be right back.
All right.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah, no worries. Let's see here. Keep me posted.
All right. Okay, cool. All right, so we're good now.
That's weird. Better cancel that.
What's that?
Better cancel that after this.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. Okay, cool. So at least we got that down. So let's keep moving here. All right, let me get my screen share back on.
Did you have to stop the recording, or it just kept?
No, it's still recording.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we're back. Okay, so now look, what we were doing is we were looking at some things here from this Men's Health website. Okay, so mother of all kettlebell exercises, you can do like, this is in the copy, you can put, this is the mother of all kettlebell workouts. Okay, so just like picking little things here. We see the word metabolic conditioning. Let's see, do this exercise. Okay, so yeah, so we have, some ideas here that we can take and we can add it into the copy. The big thing for Luca, what we're working on is we're going to want a, big headline with a big promise and, with the unique mechanism. We don't have to go super in depth with the unique mechanism. That's just not what Funk wants. And that's not what he's paying us for. He's not paying us for a whole sales letter. He's paying us for basically paid us a fifth of what a whole sales letter would cost, knowing that it's going to be something this small. Okay. This, not as in depth. So we don't have to go into the whole 6-minute workout. Holy smokes, this is like a 10,000 word piece of copy kind of a thing. But anyway, the big idea concept, we want to have that with everything. So let's get back to the sheet here.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the ways that just so you guys have an idea of how you can look up some of these things. Again, it would be kind of like what we just did. We took kettlebell. I think we put in kettlebell metabolism or kettlebell workout, metabolism, and we're able to find some, some cool research and some copy that we can use and implement. In the future, if there's, depending on some of the other products, maybe we're talking about a spice or something like that that's been used in Eastern medicine. So we use this with nutrition offers all the time. We'll type in cinnamon. So say it's a fat loss offer. You can put in cinnamon, Eastern medicine, fat loss. Okay. And see if any studies come up or anything from Dr. Oz or from Dr. Axe and these other websites, which will likely have citations on them where you can pull scientific studies. And you can make claims and things that they're also making. If Dr. Axe is saying something about a certain spice, then I'm believing that it's going to work. I'm believing his research, and I'm going to dig more into that. So as you're looking up the science of your unique mechanism, it's really simple Google searches. And on the doc that we had previously too, there were some tips in there as well. You'll notice that as you're looking for, that other research doc that we had, as you're going through that, some of the same principles, you're using here as you're trying to find your unique mechanism for your big idea. Is this all making sense so far?
Yeah.
Cool. To be honest, I actually don't think we're going to have to spend a lot of time here because we're able to hammer it out quickly. But I'll show you. You guys will be able to access this, and we'll kind of go through the rest here, which is just this one more part. okay, so we have the pop culture of the mechanism as well. So this will be important again. So if it comes to writing about President Trump, for example, or you see this a lot with a lot of like the preppers, like it's the end of the world. This person is now in office, or this, whatever her name is rising up in the political whatever, and she's, she's the whatever, she's like leading in the end times, or like all this stuff. Like you see this stuff that people use in a lot of political and financial type financial sales letters. They use the political angle. What's going on in politics that's going to affect the economy. And so they use what's happening right now. Same with like a Hollywood actor. Kinobody does a great job with this. And he's built his brand around this, which is smart, because anytime a new Marvel movie comes out, he can easily post about a blog or whatnot about, hey, you want to get the new Avenger physique, the Thor physique or whatever. Say a new Thor movie comes out. Well, here's how he dieted to get ready for this role. And he can basically write a blog article about, he probably won't put it in a sales letter, but he can write, because I don't really think he has long sales letters, but he can write a blog article about how Thor used intermittent fasting, and then he can point people to his program. Okay, so again, it's what's going on in the podcast world. So for you, Lewis, it is the iTunes algorithm example. This new algorithm is keeping the small fishes small and the big fishes are only getting bigger. Here's how you can hack your way to the big pond. So it's
or updates type of thing. Type of like news, like using the news, and like I'm subscribed to some like newsletters, so I can always pull stuff out of there.
Yes.
For content, but using that as an angle to push someone over the fence to getting the book or buying the service.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, like with your service, for example, so you can say how, or you can have like a direct response piece, or your pitch. Say you're pitching in front of a room, right?
Yeah.
You can use this stuff in for selling people in a room as well, and you can say, my team and I, get all this data across the multiple podcasts that we manage,
right.
And we found that there's this loophole that our team uses to help get you XYZ results. I guess twice as fast or
faster, because we have more experience. We're testing more. We're seeing across different industries in real time.
Exactly.
We're making steps ahead of the curve, and because we have that much data at our fingertips.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like for me, that was a big sell when I was talking to this Facebook ads guy, because he's able to keep up with the changes and connected to the Facebook reps. So these are all things that I wouldn't be able to do if I was running my own Facebook ads. Yeah. And so I'm just kind of looking at, so he's pitching me, and so it's easy for me to just be like, oh, okay, well, he's telling me that he knows the changes that are around the corner. He works with Billy Jean, so like he gets mentoring from Billy Jean as marketing. So I know that he's got that guy that he's learning from too. So it's, but anyway, it all comes back to Facebook's always changing. And Joe, you don't have to keep up with the updates. I keep up with the updates. So Lewis, going back to like the mechanism, you can even use a mechanism that's working against people. So again, going to an algorithm, or going to search engine optimization, for example, like, these SEO mistakes are actually ranking your podcast lower. But my team and I have these. We have our 10 SEO, and this could be for your book even. We have our 5 SEO strategies to boost your rankings in Google, create momentum on the iTunes charts, and get your podcast scaling faster than the other guys in your market.
Got it. I like that.
Yeah. So with that, what's that?
Oh, sorry. I was gonna ask, do you find that a lot as far as using other or instances or examples where they use other things as the scapegoat and then just kind of make it look like theirs is better? So it's just a way of making their mechanism look better than what's out there.
Yeah. So what you want to do is now I've put a positive spin on the mechanism so far. Mm-hmm. It's good to have a unique mechanism, but we also want to have a unique mechanism enemy as well. So again, Lewis, like what I keep saying, I keep repeating this, which is, to give you an example, the negative, the unique mechanism that's holding them back is the new iTunes algorithm.
Yeah.
The unique mechanism that's going to push them forward is the algorithm hack that you and your team have discovered after getting all this real life data.
Got it.
Does that make sense? And so, Luca, what could be for you is, so we have this, we have like metabolic confusion. That's like the thing that helps accelerate fat loss.
Mm-hmm.
And then we want to name something that for some, like, so say they already work with kettlebells and they're not seeing the results they want, or they're already working out and not seeing the results they want. We want to name that. So I don't think we'll need to go into it in this sales letter, but to give you an idea, like that's something you always want in this sales copy. So I'll give you an example. In our book, Anabolic Sleeping, we have catabolic sleep, and then we have anabolic sleep. Both are unique mechanisms, okay? Catabolic sleep, doesn't matter if you're sleeping 8 hours a night. If you're not getting in this deep enough sleep, which is REM sleep, then you're in catabolic sleep and your muscles aren't growing. Your testosterone is probably lowering. You're not recovering from your workouts. But when you drink this smoothie before bed, okay, you fall into anabolic sleep. Okay, and anabolic sleep is the thing that increases your testosterone, increases muscle growth, and all that good stuff. So what you want to do is you want to find the unique mechanism as to why what they're trying right now is not working and why it's failing them. And then the unique mechanism as to the solution. Does that make sense?
So people tend to believe or feel like they have a unique mechanism, and you want to kind of just find theirs and blame it and then tell them why yours is better, is what you're saying?
Exactly. So you want to say that this unique mechanism, there's a unique problem that this unique mechanism is the reason why you're not getting the results you want. This bad thing, and you can name it. And because at the end of the day, nobody wants to hear it's their fault. Like, Lewis, no one wants to hear from you that they need to be more consistent with their podcast. As much as that is one of the secret sauce to their success, they don't want to hear it's my fault. I have to be hitting the record button more often. Now, like with a, if it gets down to it, like, and they're like, whatever, like, of course, like you want to give them what they need to be successful, but they don't want to hear, like, if you're trying to sell them in a piece of sales copy or a direct marketing piece, or even if you're standing at the front of the stage and you're delivering, you don't want to be telling them you need to be doing your show, 3 times a week or whatnot. They want to know what's holding me back. So a basic example is time. Time is holding you back, okay? Or not knowing where to get started is holding you back. So you have all these resources and all that, but you don't have a done-for-you blueprint. It's not your fault. It's just you don't have a done-for-you blueprint. There's so much information out there. How could anyone expect you to try and piece all the pieces together, and actually start a podcast and launch it successfully? So just kind of reframing everything that you say as, no, it's not your fault. So going back to Luca, what we were talking about, it's not your fault that you haven't lost weight even though you're working out. It's because you have, let's see. I'm trying to think of something that we could name for Funk Software, but maybe we can just come back to that. But it's this thing that's keeping you from losing weight. However, when you do this workout, it actually, so it's your slow metabolism. Let's just say that, slow metabolism. We'll have to come up with probably a better name for that. But hey, it's your slow metabolism that's keeping you from losing weight. It's not your fault, but the problem is you can exercise as much as you want, and it's not going to get any faster. And so you're just going to be exercising more and more and more. You might see a little bit of results, but not the results you deserve. However, when you follow these short 25-minute metabolic confusion kettlebell workouts, it actually tricks your metabolism and is speeding up, and where it's operating 3 times the speed up to 72 hours after your workout. And that's why you can lose 3 pounds of fat in the next week. See how I kind of took that? So it went from, here's your problem. Okay, but it's not your fault. Here's the solution. Okay, kind of see that? And that'll work with sales with anything. Like, not just a sales letter. So hopefully that tip helps. Any other questions I can answer with this part, Luca?
And is that something you have in all your copies? You want to find something, a bad mechanism, flip it to the good one, and tie it back to the big idea, right?
Yes. Yeah, dude, that's exactly it. So just taking that, again, it's not their fault. It's this thing. So another example is, anabolic running. You're doing all this running, your personal trainers and your doctors are telling you to run if you want to get in shape and lose the belly fat and this and that. The problem is that's catabolic cardio. What that does is it actually piles on more belly fat. It's actually lowering your testosterone levels and increasing your estrogen, so it's giving you the flabby man boobs, the love handles, all that stuff. So it's really not your fault that you've been following what the personal trainers have been telling you, what the online magazine what the online blogs and magazines have been telling you. But what you really need to do is this anabolic running, because anabolic running, it only takes 16 minutes a week, and it actually boosts your testosterone levels instead of lowers them. And it's actually proven to burn X amount more fat than if you were to do the catabolic cardio. So again, just having an enemy and then having the solution and connecting the two together, and that gives you that big promise.
Yep.
Cool. All right, you guys. So, we went through this one pretty quick. So after this, just to give you an idea, so we probably won't take a 15-minute break here. We'll probably just move right on into the next one if there's no more questions on this. Let me get a swig of water real quick. But what we'll do is start working on headlines because these are the 2 biggest things that are going to move the needle. And so when you have your research in place, when you have your big idea / hook, and you have your unique mechanism that gives them that big promise, that big idea, then you're in really good shape. And that's where a winning sales letter is built on. So the next thing we do is probably get more into the practicals and actually practice. Like Lewis, I know we have a headline already written up for you here for your book. So you can do two things. You can practice maybe some headlines for if you were planning on doing like a direct mail piece that like Justin Goff did, or you can just take your book and you can write some more sample headlines to kind of get some practice of what that would look like. And we're not going to touch every part of the copy. We're only going to focus on like the important things, the needle movers that are going to get you the biggest bang for your buck for being on this call, basically. So yeah, do you guys have any more questions before moving on to the next part of regarding the finding your winning hook and your unique mechanism?
Only other thing I have is going back to having the enemy.
Okay.
The enemy you mentioned was like, in this scenario, it's like they don't have a blueprint. They don't have a done-for-you system that helps them grow. They're just kind of out there doing whatever the fuck they.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good selling point to use in the future. So I wanted to run that by you and see, like, if you're reading that, does that make sense? Is that kind of like, oh, like that makes sense as to why my show isn't good, or why I can't really get this off the ground?
Yeah. Yeah. So it comes down to like where, again, knowing where your audience is at. So
right.
Again, so if it's the person who is, they are like, yeah, like
there's two unique audiences, like the ones who like are starting, they're there, they have a podcast, but they don't really know what, like, how to grow it, how to make it better. And then there's people who are new and they want to get started, but they're a bit afraid.
Yeah. So I would say that for the person who's totally new and like wants to start their podcast, the idea that, hey, you know, the reason why you're, and we use this in fitness all the time, the reason why you're not seeing success is because there's so much information out there and you're trying to do it alone. So this person's telling you keto, for example, with the diet, keto, intermittent fasting, there's so much to choose from. How are you supposed to piece the puzzle together yourself when there's so much information out there on how to start your own podcast? What you need is what I've found is that what holds people back is being able to take action and make decisions that are going to move their podcast forward every single day till launch. And in order for that to happen, you need to have a proven blueprint. Unless you're okay with trying to figure it out on your own and, you know, trying to take the different ideas and try and piece it all together. And sure, while you may get to finally launching your podcast, it probably took you a whole lot longer. And even then, you still don't know if you did all the right things that are going to make your podcast a success. And I don't want you to waste your time, which is why you need to have a proven blueprint that'll literally show you step by step based on, you know, and then you can, of course, bring in how you've helped all of your client, you know, bring in the ones where you've helped them go from no podcast maybe to
new and noteworthy. We've got a couple people who like hit the top charts and stuff, so we got screenshots.
Yeah, that's perfect. Now, someone who already has a podcast and they're not growing, a stronger hook for that audience would be there is something working against your podcast. Maybe it's not the algorithm. Maybe it's your graphics. Maybe like, you know, did you know that your podcast artwork is getting you 50% less downloads a month? You know, so there's a problem right there. Maybe, you know, whatever the case is, oh, don't worry, my team can handle that or whatever. Or now that's kind of an easy to solve one. You want to build some mystery behind it. So what's that?
The distribution system. You don't have a distribution ecosystem.
Yeah.
podcast. That's like
There we go. So did you know that some of the top podcasts in the world actually has a secret society of distribution, systems or people or a network or whatever, where they're actually all helping each other symbiotically grow their podcast. And here's how you can get in, or there's this, the distribution network. Make it mysterious. Like there's actually this underground network that the top podcasters use to skyrocket to the top of their charts. Guess what? I'm in it and I can bring you in. My agency is in it. And if you're not in this network, sorry, but good luck trying to build a podcast in 2019.
Okay. That helps a lot. Yeah, because there's two unique audiences that we're speaking to, and for different people, we speak to different pain points. So
yeah, and there's simple ways to address that, because you're going to be in a room of people of all different levels. Like when you're pitching, likewise with the sales copy, you'll see here initially it starts. If you want to launch a wildly successful podcast in the next 100 days, or if you have a podcast and want to leapfrog your way to the top of the charts, this will be the most important letter you'll ever read. So, there's a way of by just throwing in those or statements, you're able to bring more people into your world,
Got it.
And then, of course, the people who are going to be most likely ready to buy your service are the people who already have a podcast. So, we'll get people. I mean, there's going to be people who, one day, I'm not to throw anything else on your plate, but one day you may want to do just like a whole thing where you actually walk them through setting up a podcast from absolutely nothing to actually doing the whole thing, and just video screen shoot the whole thing and package it up. And that can actually be a product that you can sell on the back end of your book for people who aren't ready to hire your service because they're at this level. They're just starting, but they want videos. They need the visual to see exactly what you're doing. And you can charge $500 one time.
I was going to do like Funnel Hacker. Like they do like build a funnel in 24 hours, like a challenge.
Yeah.
I was going to do build a podcast in 24 hours. Like I was going to do something like in the financial space. So it's like a random topic that I like.
Yeah.
And then just film it and just me doing it and then setting up everything. Like that video.
Yeah, dude, that would be great. And you can sell that. So that way, because right now you have two options. You have, so say you're on the phone with someone, you have like, say like one of these guys like fills out the application and they already have a podcast. And once you extract that information, I'm not going to bring up my video course to these guys.
Right.
There's one way to work with me, and it's this. But if it's someone who does not, they're just getting started, and then you pitch your podcasting service, hey, it's $1,000 a month or whatever, and they say, oh man, Lewis, it sounds so amazing, but I can't afford it. Then you downsell them to your $500 package. So at least you're getting, you're maximizing your revenue.
Yeah, because you get a lot of unqualified leads, and I'm like, shit, like I could have a low mid-ticket item, but it needs to be scalable.
Yeah,
100%. So that's really a good idea.
Yeah, man, a $497 one-time product, and I'll show you how I put together a podcast in 24 hours, and you just record the thing, just like you don't have to make it fancy, like just record, screen share what you're doing, or screen record what you do. Like that's it, man. It can be done in a day. Okay, so any more questions?
I got a question too.
Yeah, what's up, Luca?
Yeah, I got one. Actually, it's two. Do you ever find you can go overboard with enemy mechanisms? And then since podcasts are so new, Lewis kind of has an advantage, but with fitness, and you've done this for a long time, it's just a matter of there's so much out there. Do you have to go above and beyond to kind of lower people's barriers? Because so many people have tried so many different things. Or is it just a new big idea, new mechanism, you just stay ahead, one more ahead of the next person, I guess.
Yeah. So, it's funny. Really, as much as as much as it sounds like there's so much new stuff out there, there actually isn't. Like anabolic running, for example, isn't new. It's high intensity interval training, which isn't
Mhm.
new, which is running sprints. So it's basically I'll say that you'll run into this where there's going to be a lot of times you'll have clients and they don't have anything new, but us as the marketers, us as the copywriters, we have to make it sound new. We have to make their problems sound new as well. So, like, for example, saying that the reason you have diabetes is because you have, what is it, high blood sugar. Um, that's not going to work in a sales letter. That's common knowledge at this point. So you have to find a way, find some research and find a way to spin it by naming it something new. You have well, instead of, it was once high blood pressure, and then then some people call it hyperglycemic, and then they're like, what's that, what's hyperglycemic? But then if you turn it up a notch and you put on your marketing hat, it can be something like you can have let's see, I'm trying to think of a way to say unbalanced in a cool way. But anyway, you want to name their problem something very unique. Like, as funny as it is, I just wrote a sales letter for a pill to help guys with erectile dysfunction, right? And so a lot of the issue that they talk about is blood flow, and is like all these different things. Well, I had to basically create an entirely new phrase for why these guys are experiencing this certain thing, this certain disorder or disease, or just this embarrassing bedroom nightmare, basically. And so that's what you want to do, is you want everything, you want it to sound new. Even if it's old, you want it to sound like it's recently uncovered, and it's been lost to history, and now here it is, out in the open now. Does that kind of make sense or answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so as far as bad or enemies, have you ever felt like you can go overboard with them, like, or throw too many in there?
Yes, you want to have one. You
Okay.
want to have one. So that's a great question, and you want to have one unique mechanism that works, that fixes that. So you want to have one unique problem, and then you want to have one unique solution. If you do more than one, it'll confuse the reader, so they're probably not going to buy, because once the reader's confused, they're gone, like they're out of there.
Okay.
So just one problem, one solution, and that's what you'll focus your whole sales letter around. So yes, you can talk about like time, and you can talk about these different problems, but there has to be like that one overarching reason that, like, no matter how much they exercise or no matter how much they diet, there's this one thing inside their biology maybe that is making it a lot harder for them to get the kind of results they want. And here's that thing that fixes that one problem.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Any other questions, Luca?
No, that's
Cool.
good.
Cool. Lewis, I don't know if you might be in the bathroom, but if you're still there, any questions? He's probably in the bathroom. Okay, so what we'll do is I'm going to stop sharing here, and then I'm going to end the meeting and